Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Souls Charity Marathon 2024. Coming at you with a donation run for Save the Children. We are all set up for the Dark Souls 1 SL1 Any percent run with hzsyahzin, and I'm really excited to see this run. So hope you are too. Take it away.
Hello, I'm hzsyahzin or hzsyahzin. Either one is fine. And I'm gonna be running SL1 Any percent. This run has gone a bit faster in the time since I did this last year, but none of the strats have changed. Very amusingly, especially given the fact that the incentives has been met. So let's get started. Then I'm gonna count myself in. So that is 3, 2, 1, and I'll start now. So those of you familiar with last year's run, or any Dark Souls 1 run anyway, we're going to be running through His Island first. If you saw there, I sort of two-handed my hilt as soon as I stood up, and now I'm blocking as soon as I opened the door. So that's a bit of a trick to improve the acceleration of the character. And you'll also see me toggling, and that will basically do the same thing. Basically makes you accelerate ever so slightly faster, and of course in a run like this, where it's only 20 minutes long, optimally, every second helps. And the reason we block as opposed to toggling, we prefer blocking because theoretically it saves a frame over toggling, but realistically for a run as short as this, frames matter very little. So we're just gonna run here and pick up this hand axe. If you're familiar with other runs, the hand axe is a weapon that's quite rarely picked up, but in this one we need it because we don't have the black fire bombs to do the early dispatch of the Asylum Demon. So I'm gonna quit out here because the stand-up animation from when you stand up when you load in, it has destructive properties. So we'll destroy this wall and we'll go say hi to Oscar. So this is actually faster than getting the boulder to roll down, theoretically. I forgot to equip my hand axe, so I'm just going to do that here. And we go here. We just sort of let the boulder roll down. And we go around the hollow. This is Upper Asylum, which is, again, you see it in all bosses, but otherwise, not really, because it's a bit annoying to go through. And everyone would much rather not have to go through the pain of it. So we're going to go here, and I'm going to try and jump attack him and get 2 hits of damage, which does a bit of extra damage. 2, 3, and 2 fireballs and he's dead. And we're off to the races. Wait for the key to drop into my inventory, and off we go. In a IGT run, which means in-game time, which is the standard for all Dark Souls runs, we would quit out there, because if you quit out, the in-game timer will stop, and when you load back in, the door will be open. And again, but because this is a marathon, we would do what we call RTA strats, which is real time. And in real time, it's faster to not quit out, because loading times in this game, they're not the best, unfortunately. As many force quit runners and even normal game runners can attest, the loading times in this game are unfortunately not amazing. So, but then again, I may be spoiled for choice compared to some other games. Now we can dispatch of the hand axe. We no longer need it, and we're gonna pick up the S-stock here. The S-stock will be used for the move swap glitch, which will be used to be dealing the vast majority of the damage in our run. And we need a weapon with a running attack that deals 2 ticks of damage. So the usual ones that they go for are the Mail Breaker, which if you've seen SL1 all bosses, they go for the Mail Breaker. I think they do, actually. I assume they do because they do boxes, but if they don't, that's my mistake. And S-stock is used in the wrong warp. The Rapier is used in any percent. I'm gonna jump over this valley. This is the valley jump. Hardest jump in the game, we like to joke, but in reality it's not too hard. But failing it is quite embarrassing. Also because the fact that if you fail, you have to generally reset because we're quite early on. But if you want to go for a really optimal line, then yeah, failing is a little more likely. We're picking up these souls here to pop later for purchases at Andre. And now we just have a bit of running section. So if there's anything the host would like to chip in, then please feel free.
Yes, and we just hit our $4,000 donation goal. So thank you so much. Big claps in the chat for that. We do have a couple of donations if we have time for those.
I reckon it's time. Go for it.
Okay. So we have a donation from KK, $5. I really want that sweater from Carter. Preach. Great commentary on this run. Also, so we are looking for that sweater. We're looking for that sweater. And also, we do have a donation, $50 from Carter. Literally the only thing I like more than DS1 is saving the children. And Demon Souls. And Bloodborne. But that's it.
Fairly reasonable take. Obviously he's wrong, but you know, people are allowed to be wrong. Nothing wrong with being wrong. And if you just saw that I picked up the red Tearstone ring, which we use to deal extra damage, and it will be the bane of my existence later on this run, as you will undoubtedly see. So how that ring works is that when you're at low health, you'll deal extra damage. But that's besides the point. Right now we're gonna pop a soul here and quit out. I said earlier that quit out strats are slower, if you were listening. Quit out strats are slower than not quit out strats in marathon time. That's true for almost everything. I think for this elevator is just so long that even that it's probably quicker to just quit out. And if you can't, then you get this strat, which is the up warp. So if you saw there, I sort of jumped into the elevator shaft that the elevator left behind, and I quit out, and then when I jumped back in there, I came back in at the top of the elevator. I'm gonna take this bonfire for safety because the Black Knight here loves to be unpredictable. We shouldn't need to kill him in this run. If he does die, it's a bit of a pain for us actually. But yeah, so we're past him and off we go. The reason why him dying is a bit of a pain is because he'll give us extra souls, and that'll sort of mess up what we have to do at Andre. But again, shouldn't be any real issue. Also, he can kill us here when we're dropping off this platform, which has happened to me before in runs. Yeah, I've spent quite a lot of time running this through the years. Ooh, there he is. Not as much recently. I've been running No Wrong Warp a lot more recently, but in the past, yeah, I've definitely spent far more time than I probably should have running SL1. Formerly held the world record for a small period of time. A fairly rubbish and unoptimized world record, but you know what they say. Anything for the CV, am I right? But regardless, I'm holding the rapier and the bow. So the bow I'll need for, again, the move swap. So we're sort of, this early game, we're sort of building up towards that move swap there. And this is the same route that you follow in No Wrong Warp, but unlike in No Wrong Warp, we don't pick up the Black Knight Halberd. And the reason is we don't have the levels for it. And this is SL1, which means we're not allowed to level up. So, ergo, there's no point picking it up. And I'm just gonna skirt around this demon. He can actually kill me here, which is a little annoying. That's why I sort of ran off to the side there. And let's go buy stuff from Andre. So I'm gonna buy the weaponsmith box, the battle axe. I'm gonna buy the Caduceus kite shield. And then I'm going to do what's called a prompt swap, which means I'm going to buy 99 Titanite shards. So that's a glitch where we basically put the buying menu from one item and we give it to another item. Because I wouldn't have had enough souls to buy enough Titanite, basically the game thinks I'm buying wooden arrows, but I move the menu above that of the Titanite so that instead of buying 99 wooden arrows, we buy 99 Titanite. And we use the Titanite right here to level up my battle axe to +5, and that will be my weapon for the next boss or two. And now I'll snipe the hollow here. Oh, forgot to equip the arrows. Common blunder. I'm gonna snipe this should be okay. Let's see if it hits him. It does indeed. Headshot. Lovely. I need to unequip that. And here he comes. And this is a glitch that's called a death cam. So if you're familiar with Dark Souls 3 runs or even other Dark Souls 1 runs, this is Sen's gate skip. And a death cam is a sort of cinematic camera angle that you enter when falling from a distance so that your death does not look uneventful. It gives a bit of weight to your death, you know, a bit of fun game design there. But in this scenario, when you're in the death cam, nothing loads. I presume in order to save resources. And so the gate to Sense Fortress is not loaded, so we can just walk on right through. And here we are in Sense Fortress. I will look behind right now so you can see the closed gate behind me, just for your benefit. And there it is, closed. And I'm just gonna run through Sense Fortress. So Sense Fortress is notoriously quite difficult for new players, but if you're used to it, as many Dark Souls 1 runners are, you can just sort of run through. The patterns are very predictable, fortunately. So if you know the way forward and you know what the axes will do, then you're in for a good time, theoretically. There's a few places here where the deaths are more often than others, and this is not one of them. Right here, I'm gonna do the move stop glitch. It's probably not faster here. Actually, you know what? Let's leave it to later. I'm gonna do what I did in No Wrong What and move stop later. In Mario's world record, he does the move stop there. I suspect it doesn't save time because of stamina, but I haven't timed it, so we shall see eventually. And right now here, I'm running up this hill. Normally there's gonna be a boulder there that would kill us, so we just quit out to stop the boulder from coming down. When we spawn back in, the boulder will not be present, and we can just walk on right through. And right now we're going to be taking damage from the next trap, and the reason for that is to set up the RTSR as previously mentioned. There it is. Failing that is... Here's one point where people die. Because the camera angle here is quite tight, lots of people can sort of run off the edge there because of some weird camera stuff. And the next place where people die is not here, but just after here, when we're outside. And off we are into the upper Sense Fortress. Get a bit of daylight, and we can see the boulders being thrown down, or the bombs rather. And those are of no impediment to us, particularly as we will be running through with reckless abandon. And right now I'm gonna be executing the move stop glitch. So I will jump and I'll equip the bow in my left hand, but swap out the bow for the battle axe. So instead of having the bow in my left hand, the battle axe is in my left hand, and it's two-handed. Normally you can't two-hand on the left side, unlike Dark Souls 2. Which is a point in Dark Souls 2's favor, but that's regardless. But now, because the game does it panics, it doesn't really know what to do, it gives us the running attack of what's on our right hand. There you see I did 2 ticks of damage. And that enemy there, that hollow, we call him Bob. He's the second, basically, killer section here, where people sort of tend to... Because you're in low health here, he can sort of act up. Iron Golem theoretically shouldn't be a problem. This is one of the nicer Iron Golem fights. He should fall right off here. And there he goes. I'm gonna be keeping my move stop, unlike you may have seen me done in the previous years. Just because it's faster. And yeah, so the Iron Golem fight here, the way it works is that you have to deal... Okay, forgive my ignorance here, but I do think it's 400 damage below the knee, and that causes him to stagger. And if he staggers in just the right position, you can knock him down with a further 200 points of damage, and that will just knock him over, and he falls right off the edge. It's quite hard in other runs. No Wrong Wop has it easy as well, but in all bosses, for example, you do the Drake Sword fight, and the Drake Sword fight, I personally am a fan, but many of my colleagues are not. I'm gonna take this bonfire here purely for safety. In a marathon setting, I wouldn't like to spawn all the way back in Andre's house right after dying to the Painting Guardians, which I undoubtedly will. I'm gonna drop, but not quite, the Titanite shards here, just to get the number 90 up, and you'll see why later. As presuming we don't quit out. If we do quit out, then you get to see it again. And I'll explain why shortly. But right now we're gonna be running through the Painting Guardian area. I think these are called rafters, but I'm no archaeologist. I'm gonna heal here again for safety, because these guys can hit you with their throwing knives on the ladder, and if so, there's nothing really you can do. I'm gonna hold the quit out menu just so that if they did hit me once, they won't hit me again, because I can quit out. Because you can easily get 2 hit there and just die. And normally in a run setting you wouldn't heal. Now I'm gonna try this jump, which is called Namu Rafters. And I did get it. So that jump hit saves, I think, 1.5 seconds or something. It's quite hard to do, but if you want to go for optimal times, as many people do, especially in runs like Force Quit any percent, you have to go for it. And that guy throws knives. He loves to do that. And he only does that if you do number after, so that's your sort of penalty for going faster than usual. And right now we're just going to be running to the Silver Knight, so if there's anything the host would like to chip in, please do, please feel free.
All right, we do have a couple of donations here. We have Azel with $5, Slay, less than 3. Thank you so much for your generous donation. We also have a $50 donation from ShadowCon. Great show, great event, great commentary, great players every year without fail. Thank you, and best of hope, save the children. Thank you so much for that generous donation.
Thank you so much, guys. £50 is a lot. 50 currency is a lot, so thank you so much. We really appreciate it. All proceeds will go to save the children, so it's a good cause as any. Normally people like to ask for quiet here. I reckon we don't need quiet because I'm a gamer. You can just hear the arrows being shot here. So you want to just sort of hold here so he doesn't shoot you. And just gonna sort of bait this guy to fall off, which he is wont to do, fortunately for us. In other runs such as Norangwop, you can kill him with the halberd or the Drake sword in all bosses presumably. Actually, in all bosses they may do the AI break, so I'm not sure how that works. But in Norangwop, you can just kill him with the halberd or running attacking with the shield, and that's perfectly fine. In this run, however, we have very little in terms of attacking capacity, so we're a little limited in that. And that's just me taking the bonfire. That is not a safety bonfire, that is a bonfire I have to take because right now we're going to be killing the giant blacksmith for his hammer. And that hammer... Oh! Sorry, I almost fell off the edge there, a bit of a panic, but it was no issue. And theoretically I didn't have to drop that again there, but again, I'll talk about that later. So this is the main damage dealer of this run, and many SL1 runs. I want to say most SL1 runs. I'm unsure as to the specifics, because... Oh, please be nice, thank you. Because you don't need to level up to use it, and it's quite a hefty damage dealer. Of course, nowhere near the Black Knight weapons, which are favored in other runs, non-SL1 runs. Okay, now I'm just gonna... Oh, I'm gonna jump off the stairs. And... Nice start, nice. And get a double menu here. And because I opened to drop the Titanites before, if I do this, the game will think that I'm buying 90 as opposed to just 1 Titanite shards. It's again another prompt that we are swapping. So I would like to do some move swap attacks here, if he gives me the correct RNG for it. So there it is. Yeah, you can get 2 here if you're cheeky. Oh, I'm dead. Not quite. I did survive, which is fortunate. He was only 1 hit away. And now we get our main weapon here, which is the Giant's Blacksmith. Hammer, and off we go. So now we're gonna fighting Onsi and Smaug. Okay, this is the issue here. Normally this fight is very nice. It's very easy. It's not as easy, of course, as in other runs, for example, Norangwop with the Black Knight Halberd, but with AI breaks and stuff, this is a very easy fight. However, because the incentive has been met, thank you to everyone who donated towards it, which is the 300 pounds needed for me to fight this boss with the Battle Axe +5 without move swap, with RTSR, which is essentially a hitless fight. We may be here a while, so I'm gonna, well, I've discussed with the host and stuff, I'm gonna be giving this a try for 10 minutes. If I can't get it in 10 minutes, then I will proceed as normal. But 10 minutes, I think I should be able to do it. You know what? I believe in myself. I believe in reality. You. Thank you, Sam.
I believe in you. You can definitely do this.
I can do it. All right. So walking opener isn't ideal, but that's fine. So I intend to hold a bit of a clinic here. You want to strafe. So when fighting Onsi and Smaug in this sort of casual capacity, I say casual. Oh, a death there. That's fine. I say casual not as a condescension, but more as a sort of non-speedrun. Not as to me non-speedrun, as in non-move swap or other tactics which are used in the speedruns. When fighting Onsin and Smaug in a casual capacity, you want to kill Onsin first. The reason why is... Oh, not the best RNG for that. The reason why is that Big Smile is just easier to deal with. Big Ornstein is famously quite unpredictable. His jump attacks and stuff are very difficult to dodge. If you can't beat him, you get a ring, which is good, which possibly you may want casually. But again, that's your prerogative. But if you're struggling in this fight, as many people do, Ornstein's first, Smile second. Killing Ornstein, you want to treat him with as little respect as possible. What does this mean? I borrowed this phrase from Pseudo-Stripey describing how to kill Sinner. You want to get right up in his face. You want to strafe right up behind him. You wanna not give him any room to breathe, because if you do give them any sort of distance, bad things happen. So you want to get right up in his face. You want to attack after his attacks. And just try to stay as close to them as possible. The closer you are to them, the less likely they are to do more unpredictable, like such as this charge. Smile's charge and Ornstein's stab that they just did in quick succession there. They are the unpredictable and they're the killers. Also the backstep. Oh, here he goes. The pillar was there again, not my fault. Unfortunately, that was probably my fault for a bit of positioning failure. But again, no, it is of no issue. So lack of respect. You want to strafe around because of the risk of Ornstein doing that quick stab attack. You want to strafe around him anti-clockwise, so that if he does do that strafe attack, it doesn't hit you immediately, because that's the one that has very little wind up. And if you're strafing him, circling around him leftwards, which is to say clockwise, you're quite easily hit by him, which is not obviously ideal, especially in this setting where I'm quite literally attempting to do this fight unscathed and without any hard damage dealing weapons, which is always a bit of a pain. He hasn't done the charge, which means I can get 3 hits in here. The charge are the ones that you want to watch out for, because yeah, when the double happens like that, theoretically what I could have done better there is I could have accepted that the pillar would have been in the way and instead tried to focus on Ornstein's jump attack. How long have I spent so far, Sam? Just for my own reference.
It's been about 3 minutes.
It's been about 3 minutes. See, we have plenty of time. Theoretically, this is doable. I've achieved it a few times back to back in practice, but again, it's very RNG dependent. Depends on how the boss is feeling. Much praise to the people who run like this in casual settings. I'm a speedrunner. I want to say I'm not very good at the game casually. It's why you don't see me in the random race, and it's why you don't see me in all bosses. I'm not much of a casual player, so for me this is a bit of a learning experience as well. Okay, this is another one of Ornstein's a bit of an issue. His jump backs, because after his jump back, he can sort of do an instant attack, which is again something you want to avoid. So after jump back, you don't want to be attacking him. Just keep in mind what you can and can't strafe as well. Like this one, you can strafe, but only if you're running. You want to keep them both in view as well, which I have neglected to mention so far. Just so that you can keep in mind what both of them are doing. If you're good with your audio cues, you can sort of occasionally gauge what Smile is doing if you're focused on Ornstein. But again, just noting what one of them is doing. If he's initiated an attack, oh, that's gonna get me. Yep. Indeed it did. If one of them's going to initiate an attack, then, and you know that the attack's not going to hit you, you focus immediately on the other. This fight is quite techy. It's my favorite fight in this game, including the DLC bosses. So sorry to all you Manus fans and Artorias stans, of which I'm sure there are many. Or very few. Depending on whether you run the game or not. After speedrunning the game, I think very few people survive as Manus fans. Manus is famously quite unpredictable in the speedrun and can quite easily lose time for literally no reason whatsoever, just because he feels like it. And the reason why damage dealing weapons are favored is not just because they kill the boss quicker. It's also because of the eliminating the lack of RNG. If you remember, possibly a few years ago when I killed this boss with the blacksmith hammer without move swap, right? Because that fight is essentially the same thing as this one, except because the battle axe deals so much less damage, there's so much less room for error and more room for the bosses to sort of act up. So right now he's come around the pillar. The pillar. Did we get a stagger there? We do. I'm unwilling to engage in the corners. I'm just gonna sort of bring them out a little. Here we go. Hello. Please do something that's just punishable. Thank you. Roll, thank you. Bit of a bad attack from me. Getting behind Unseen as well is also good because you can occasionally block his jump backs, and the closer he is, again, the better. The reason, again, why you might prefer to circle strafe is because if one of them is stuck behind the other, that was very close. One hit away. Unfortunate. But if one of them is very close, then they can get stuck behind the other, and that is, again, a situation which is much preferred to be avoided. And yeah, so the reason why I died there was because of, again, the double attack, which but it's also because of my own lack of skill there. I think if I had faded away a bit more towards the elevator, that could have been a little better. But this is the sort of mentality that you need to have when practicing. To all you aspiring runners out there, you shouldn't just merely throw yourself mindlessly at attempts. I think that although it's quite easy to start just throwing yourself at runs, getting angry and repeating. I'm personally as many of the speedrunners are aware, like, the main bulk of speedrunning is in the practice. So I like to not do runs at all until I'm very, very familiar with every possible RNG a boss has, every way a run can go wrong. And even then, mindlessly throwing yourself at practice helps no one as well. So you want to be aware of what you did wrong. You want to assess, where did I mess up there? Where could I have done better? And I think just in life, that is a fairly reasonable attitude to have. Forgive me for going all philosophical on you. There we saw a bit of another issue, is that Smile's hammer can inadvertently... Oh, I don't want to get up on the stairs if possible. If you saw that, I dodged Onstein's sort of dash purely by timing, which is, again, something that is doable if you're experienced with the boss, but I would advise against it. Alright, here we go. Bit of an early roll there because I wanted to get away of any potential... Again, the double attack. If the timing in there was just a little bit offset, I would have been dead. And here we are. Don't do a charge, my friend. Thank you. The jump attack as well, you want to be aware of the slightly wider hitbox than is probably reasonable. That was scary. I thought I didn't get the roll off in time, but clearly I did, fortunately. Get out of behind the pillar there, sir. What you saw there, this one attack is the single exception to the don't strafe to the left rule. When he did that one sort of swipe attack, the left strafe is the only one that is better. Okay, got a bit trapped there, but fortunately we escaped. Ooh, that could have killed me. Again, another reason to keep circle strafing. You want to be dodging all this stuff. If you keep directly strafing, there's more chance of this stuff hitting you. I shouldn't be attacking him here. Roll! Unfortunate. How are we doing for time, Sam?
You just hit your 10 minutes.
I just hit my 10 minutes. I'm gonna give it one more shot, and then I will move swap the battle axe, and we'll see if it's a little better. And then I'll give that 2 or 3 attempts, and then I'll go to the normal strat. So again, there's no worries here. It's all for charity. So any and every issue here. The only worry I have is that I'd rather not infringe on other runners' time, which is, again, but again, I think I gave myself fairly generous estimate, hoping nothing else goes wrong. Which again, Gwyn in this run is famously unpredictable. Because fighting Gwyn with the blacksmith hammer, you get all the worst parts of the Dragon Tooth fight. With none of the benefits except mildly high damage. So you get the stagger, and you get the move stop attack, but that's it. Because the range, I want to say the reach of the reach of the weapon is just so. Alright, I suppose we shall be move stopping the Battle Axe now. It's because the reach of the blacksmith giant hammer is just so small compared to a weapon you'd normally use. It's just a bit of a pain to use. Okay, so move swapping the blacksmith giant hammer here. I'm sort of showing you guys the progression of how fights work. So that's not gonna be enough. I should probably get another attack from him, shouldn't I? Come on. There we go. So move swapping the blacksmith hammer, we sort of get the same as the blacksmith giant hammer fight, but with much less of the damage. So again, if you remember how I move swapped, I'm just gonna swap down here, and you get again the double stagger, but the issue is that the damage output is again very low. If the stagger was all that mattered, this would, and I actually have been considering going for purely just skipping the giant blacksmith entirely, but perhaps that's a bit too whimsical and a bit too overreach. We shall see. It's very easy to get frustrated in these runs, but please don't. Please, you want to keep your calm. This is for fun. At the end of the day, I play this game because I enjoy it. That's a bit of a reach. So as you see here, we get a bit. We're basically doing the exact same fight as before, except with. I'm dead. I'm not dead. Except with a bit more damage, and we get the stagger. And the stagger is really the sort of game changer in this fight. I could have gone for the attack there, but I decided to play it safe. Let's not waste more of others' time than is necessary. Oh. That's why knowing the fight is important, because there, if I strafe to the left, I would have been dead. But because I know my Ornstein's fight, I know to strafe to the right. Actually, I'm not sure about the stagger here. I suspect that it's 4-hit stagger, but again, I'm not willing to confirm that. Let's see what he does. So 1-hit stagger. Forgive me. This is the easiest fight of all time. Until he jumps. Please don't charge. He charged. That is the sort of... Oh, I'm dead here. I'm not dead! And they say to... And they say to... And they... What did they say? I'm fumbling my words here. I probably could have gone for another attack there. Again, the thing about this, the stagger is that it cancels its next attack. Oh, he's alive. My bad. Let's finish him off there. And canceling the next attack is extremely useful for not getting into those chains of he does jump attack. You walk up to him, you hit him, he does another jump attack. And those of you who fight him casually or with inferior weapons know that it's a little frustrating. And that's that for the boss. So it took a little longer than I'd liked. I would have liked to have defeated it without the moveset, but you know how these things go. You can't always rely on this. I'm sorry to the people who are expecting the best fight of all time, but I'd like to think I satisfied at least part of the incentive by killing him with the battle axe, regardless. And right now we're just gonna be walking back to Hollow Room, and we're gonna kill Gargoyles next as soon as you warp to filing. So if there's anything the host has to say, now's the time.
Yeah, so I just want to remind everyone that we are here raising money for Save the Children. And I wanted to thank one of our partners, Fourth Wall. You can find some of our awesome merchandise for SCM at our merch store on Fourth Wall. And they have set up an incredible website, and we have some great hoodies. We've got some mugs, hats, and all the proceeds from the merch shop are going for Save the Children. So if you see anything that you like, go ahead and make a purchase, and that money will go to Save the Children.
Hell yeah. The merch, the knitwear, I believe they called it, which are those sort of jumpers. They have the Speed Souls logo and the flames on the arms. They're really good. They're really pretty.
I can't wait to get mine.
Yeah. They're so good. And if you'd like, you can gift your merch to anyone in the chat. You can do a giveaway, you can buy for other people. It's all very accessible. So if you'd like your money to go to charity while also supporting one of your friends, it's a very easy way to do it. And right now we're coming up to Gargoyles. So Gargoyles is a piss easy fight. Forgive my language. It's an easy fight in this run. Because of just the damage dealing, we no longer have the issue of the battle axe. We have this big ass weapon. We can just sort of run through this man. If I'm not bad, of course. Da-da-da-da-da. And they're dead. How simple was that? If you want to squeeze out every little bit of time, then you do need to sort of optimize those sort of fights. But again, in this category, it's really a chill time. I do believe that this is because this category has very little in terms of menuing. I think it's a very chill category for anyone who's willing to start out. It's very relaxed. It's not too difficult. You don't have to do any of the insane skips that they do. Even Blighttown skip, which I'm going to do right now. It's decently hard, but you don't need to do it. You can just sort of skip past it. And in previous runs, they did indeed do just that. I believe the world record before me, which was a pretty slow-ish run by, I think, Gundrake. Or possibly the one before that. I don't mean to throw shade upon Gundrake. But it just didn't do BTS. And instead it BTS, sorry, being the shortening for Blighttown skip. Not, in fact, behind the scenes or the K-pop group. Blighttown skip is what I'm doing right now, where we sort of skip going to Blighttown by doing what is first we do what is called a transition clip. So we're doing those weird sort of inputs there. That's all to ensure that I'm in the perfect place where I'm standing in New London ruins or whatever they're called for just like a short amount of time. And when you do that and you quit out, the game sort of loads weirdly. And as you saw there, the weird loading of the game made me clip out of bounds. And because of the positioning, I fall and I spawn on this perfect place, where if I aim perfectly at the corner of this sort of triangle here, and I backstep and roll, and then roll forwards, I end up on this little ledge. And from this ledge, you can run across this 1 pixel gap, which I fell off. Which again, I assume is fairly warranted given that in the previous years, I said, this is so easy, who could ever fall off? And then proceeded to immediately fall off. The hilt, this is a bit of an update since last time. The hilt is what used to be called a delayed roll. Before we used to do unequipped air rolls here. Oh. I survived. So what happened there was Quailax domain didn't load in, which can happen occasionally. If it did happen, we just have to do a skip again, so it's no issue. But before we used to do what's called unequipped air rolls, which allowed us to do air rolls, which means roll through the air by unequipping a weapon. And that mean that you could do more fun strats. And there was also a bit where you could also just get a normal air roll by getting the Ring of Favor and Protection, if I recall correctly. Oh, can I get the 2 hits? I can, nice. The moveset fight here is fairly, oh, a bit scary there. This should be fairly relaxed. Because again, we deal 2 ticks of damage. It's actually a cycle here you can do to sort of break her AI. Not really, that's a lie. But where you can sort of get her, stunlock her, that's a word. where first you move stop attack her front and then her rear. She does the sort of poison red cloud attack from her rear. And then you just go back to the front and you do it again and again and again, and it's very easy to kill her. Right now, I shall be going to Petrus to get homeward, which allows us to do the eponymous glitch, the homeward wrong warp. There's all sorts of strats you can do here for Petrus. There's a menu quit outs and stuff. Again, way marathon settings, so I'm just not gonna do that. You can actually kick him, if I recall correctly, to make him have less time between dialogues. But the main time sink here is this entering the Covenant here, and that's what the quit out saves. And they'll do it in all buses runs if you see it. If I recall correctly, anyway. Oh, I did not mean to enter the Covenant. Homeward and Thorlon Talisman. And off we go to the kiln, where we will equip attune rather. We will attune homeward, and then we will do the homeward wrong warp, and then we'll go to Gwyn, which is the main problem in this run, really. Let's warp to Undead Parish, and yes, and now we're gonna do the homeward wrong warp. So what we do here is that we use our left-hand item with Fireball, and we change Fireball to homeward at the last second, and use the right-hand weapon. This is all in the span of a frame. I did it first try because I'm a gamer, but and then the game sort of panics out, and it gives you the homeward spell with the Fireball animation. And when the homeward spell is cast and you rest at the bonfire afterwards, the game panics and it sends you to your bonfire as the default location. And what is the default location of the filing altar? Well, no prizes for guessing, but it is right here in the Kiln of the First Flame. I equipped the shield for parry strats for Gwyn, which I don't think I'm gonna do, but just in case, you never know, I'm gonna be equipping the shield in my offhand. I have little to none faith about my ability to successfully do the parry. In practice, it proved a little more cumbersome than I'd anticipated, but such is the way of speedruns. And yeah, so as we walk up to Gwyn, I want to say this fight is quite hard, and it's also RNG dependent. The difficulty in this fight is the stamina management. So you want to be doing a running attack on Gwyn as soon as you can. This means you start running before the green has even appeared in your stamina bar occasionally. So it's really tight. And if we don't get the stagger on Gwyn, it's gonna be a long one. So you do a backstep here, and we get a running attack. The goal is to stun lock him. Oh, he jumped. As you can see, Gwyn does not like to help us. Seems to be okay. Suck. Okay, thank you. That was a brilliant, perfectly done fight. He jumped, which is a bit of a shame, but other than that, let's do the Dark Lord ending. You know what? I like the Dark Lord. And let's go. And that is time right now. So, yeah, that's that. Thank you to Speed Souls. Thank you to Save the Children. It was a pleasure to be here. I'll be here again soon for the No Wrong Up race in a few hours. And yeah, so especially I want to thank Goofball and Atty for being very great runners and good friends. And you guys sort of encouraged me to come back to Dark Souls after I've been a bit of a hiatus away. And thank you to the commentators, thank you to Sam, and thank you to all the team. Thank you to all the team behind the scenes, the tech startup. The restream setup this year is very fun. It's very complicated, but it looks very techy. And yeah, so shout outs to all of those people. And it was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on the run.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. That's going to wrap up my hosting shift here at the Souls Charity Marathon 2024. I've had an amazing time hanging out with all of you, watching these incredible speedruns and raising money for a meaningful cause, Save the Children. A huge thank you to the runners, the production team, and of course, every single one of you who've donated and shared the event or just tuned in to support. This community is truly something special. Stick around because the marathon isn't quite over yet. There's still so much more coming up. I'm going to go ahead and pass things off to the next host, Carter, so that you can enjoy the next leg of the event with them. But right now, we're actually going to go to one of our incentive videos for reaching $4,000 so far. So big claps in chat for that, and we'll see you right after this intermission.